Hey guys, it's Casey. I'm back and I'm doing what probably my most exciting project I've done so far. It's a set review for Return to Ravnica. I don't know if you guys were there for the first time go around, but it was amazing. And it let you do some crazy things in standard and also in extended. It was just so much fun. I had such a blast doing it. I decided to do something different. I decided to do a set review for the set. We're gonna go over the white cards today, and the first one we have here is Angel of Serenity. The 5/6 flyer has 7 mana, 3 whites, 4 colors. This card is really good. Like, this is a windmill slam first pick because first off, it gets creatures in your opponent's battlefield, and also gets them in their graveyard for Golgari. And also, when they kill Angel, if they kill Angel, it doesn't go back to play, it goes back to their hand. Which is amazing, because even O-Ring wasn't that good. But this card is such a good creature. In limited, it's such a good creature, but for standard, I don't see this card making that many big impacts unless you have like blue-white control, Esper control, maybe Reanimated X. Other than that, the card's really good. I'm excited about it. And next we have Armory Guard. 2/5 costs 4, has vision as long as you control. Gates are the lands that come to play tapped. They tap for either color of the guild that they go with. I'm not very impressed with this card. This is like a 23rd pick because for fillers, because it's better than Pillarfield Ox from M13, but it's still not, and Pillarfield Ox wasn't impressive. And the same thing goes for this card. This card's limited only. Outside of it, it's not playable. But not much to say about this card. Okay. Next we have Avenging Arrow. Destroy target creature that don't damage this turn. Instant speed, 3 mana. I don't like the clause effects. Removal spells like Rebuke and Innistrad was okay because it just attacked, didn't have to deal damage. But this one has to deal damage and it costs the same amount of mana for a even harder or even more painful and costly, even more costly condition, and it's not that great as a removal spell. Yeah, not much to say. Like it's then barely limited playable. Not gonna see anything in limited or constructed. Okay, next card we have Arrest. It's coming back. It's back from Scars of Mirrodin. This card, they made it uncommon, which is really unusual. But I understand why. It basically gets everything. It stops every creature, no matter what. And it's decent. Like, it's a first pick removal spell, like it was in Scars. You can splash it if you need to, if you're light on removal. Other than that, it's a decent card. Might even see play now because of that. Azorius Arrester. Whenever it enters the battlefield, detain target creature contains this new ability for Azorius creatures. Until your next turn, that creature can attack or block, and its activated abilities can be activated. This particular creature, it's a 2/1 for 2, which is, it's okay, it's standard power level. And I guess it kind of messes up with combat math for later. So this card I wouldn't first pick it, never. I would never first pick this card. But it's a card that's nice to get about 7th pick, and you can push more damage through like detain one of the bigger creatures, and let you attack with your smaller guys without them having to trade. Which I like that. It's a good. So it's not the worst card, but it's not the greatest card I've seen. Okay. Next we have the Azorius Arrester. It's a 4-mana 2/2, 2 white, 2 colorless that when it enters the battlefield, detain 2 target creatures your opponents control. This card, I like the card more than the Arrester because not for the fact that the fact that it's a 2/2 draws away from it a little bit, but it detains 2 creatures, which basically stops an entire attack step, and it buys you time to drop your bigger creatures, which I like a lot. The only thing I don't like about detain is that it's until your next turn. It's not until your next end step, because you only get it for literally their 1 turn, and then you can't attack into them and block their guy. So you have to do it on your pre-combat main phase. Do that. If they have any tricks, they just blow you out right there, and then they get the crap back at you since you lost a guy and you have just a smaller guy for 4 mana. But other than that, I think the tank ability is pretty good. Limited only, but it's a decent creature. Concordia Pegasus, the 1/3 flying for 2 mana. This card I'm not impressed with, even though it's a 1/3 flyer for 2 mana and limited. I've seen a lot of flyers in this set, and almost all of them have at least 2 to 3 toughness. The only 1/1 flyers I've seen are tokens, and usually there's more than one flyer at a time. It's okay. I'm not ever first picking this card. I'm not going to be 5th picking this card. But it's a nice filler card. I can also use it for sideboard. If they have a bunch of if it's a blue-white deck that I'm playing against, and they have a bunch of the flyers or the Selesnya token makers, then yeah, I'll put this card in my deck. Slow down the board. Also blocks 2/2 ground creatures, or it even kills 2/1s. So it's not the worst card, but I'm not ecstatic about it. Okay. Next we have Bizarre Kravad, I don't know. The 5-mana 2/5. Whenever it attacks, another target creature gets +0/+2 and untap the creature. Card is not good. I hate to be blunt. Some people think it's amazing. Kind of gives pseudo vigilance. Maybe even saves the guy, but it's still not amazing because your opponents can just work around it because they know which ones you're pumping up, and it's not like a combat trick or anything. So not impressed. I highly doubt I would ever play this card because it costs 5 mana for a 2/5. Okay. Right, next card, Ethereal Armor. 1 mana enchant creature, it gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control, not aura, but enchantment. And has first strike. Card's not playable, I have to say, in my opinion. You have to literally have 7 enchantments that make this card possibly playable, because so far you play it for 1 mana, gives it +1/+1 first strike. If it had Totem Armor from Rise of Eldrazi, then the card would be okay because it could save a creature, but this one is just not great. I'm not impressed whatsoever. It's not even a combat trick, doesn't have flash. It's a way to get more damage in and possibly get chump blocks, but not impressed. Okay. Eyes in the Skies, put a 1/1 flying bird token into play and then populate. It's a 4 mana instant. I first read this card as a sorcery and I thought that was the worst thing ever. As an instant, I thought combat trick. Nothing set. Like if you have the land that makes an 8/8 token with vigilance, and you flash and you do this on their turn, and you make another 8/8, that's kind of good. But other than the word populate on this card is not playable. Even if it put 2 1/1s in play, then I would not play this card. It's okay. It's not the worst, but it trades with 3/2 flyers. That's about the best I can give it. Okay. Next one, Keening Apparition. Sacrifice it, destroy target enchantment. The 2 mana 2/2, which is okay, which is a decent power for white. It's not the be all best white card ever. It's kind of like War Priest of Thune, but it's always nice to be able to just like, oh look, you killed my. It's like they play an arrest, and then you just you just play this and sack it off. It's basically a naturalize for white that you can do and not spend mana for. Just play it on turn 2, bash in for a couple of damage, and then they play a enchantment spell of some kind, or kill your guy and just sack it off and just kill it. Okay. Next we have Fencing Ace. 2 mana, 1/1 double strike. This card is not that great because because if it was a 2/2 or a 3/3, it'd be amazing. But as a 1/1, double strike is not a relevant ability because it doesn't trade with anything. It doesn't block anything proficiently. You can't attack with this card because they'll just eat it with a 2/3, and 2/2s even block it. A 1/2 can block this card and live and trade. Just not impressed with this card. They make it an uncommon for no reason. Sorry to say, but Knightly Valor. When Knightly Valor enters the battlefield, put a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance into play. The enchanted creature gets +2/+2 with vigilance. The only reason that I would actually play this card is because I need a 23rd card and it gives me a token. The 2/2 vigilance knight token thing, kind of a sub theme for white. Like a lot of the creatures, a lot of the enchantments and the spells make a 2/2 white vigilance knight, and I guess this gives it the knightly status. For 5 mana, that's not worth it. Sure, you're technically add 4 power to the board for 5 mana, and it's all vigilance, but there's so many removal spells and so many instant speed bounces and so many different combat tricks that enchantments just do not work for this set because they're never gonna last. Alright, moving on. Martial Law. 4 mana, 2 white, 2 colorless. Beginning of your upkeep, retain target creature and opponent controls. This card looks like it's awesome, but it's really not. It's one of those cards that you want to first pick when you see it, but you're going to have to resist that urge because it locks down a single creature for a single turn. If you have multiples of them, then it's kind of annoying. I've already done some playtesting with decks that I've made, and my friends have made martial law decks, tried to make them work. They would do everything they possibly can, and I would literally just do everything and I would just, in response to the trigger going off of the enchantment, I just do whatever I needed to do. And they lose because they couldn't do anything because detaining is not the best ability. It's getting a lot of detainment is getting a lot of hype right now, because it's such a different ability. Being able to stop a creature for an entire turn, it's good, but it's not great. And it's just being overvalued right now. Phantom General. Like tokens, like Lingering Souls need another Crusade ability. Good thing is about this one is it's a 2/3 creature for 4 mana. I'm okay with that because that means you can target it a lot easier and have it trade. But for this set right here, this card I would not pick unless I had the green-white token deck. Other than that, you're going to see the card table a lot, and if you do have the green-white token deck and you see it, you don't have to first pick it because it's going to table most likely. 2/3 for 4 is not bad in white, but it's not a good thing to have necessarily. Hey, that's my feelings of the card. Palisade Giant. 6 mana 2/7. All damage that will be dealt to you or another permanent you control is dealt to Palisade Giant instead. This card, I don't know about this card. This card is hard to judge because it protects all of your creatures as well as yourself. So they have to have a destroy target creature spell basically to kill you, or just or they have to have like the Mizium Mortars card, which I'll go over later, and have it overloaded. But other than that, this card's not that exciting. It helps you make combat math weird because you can literally attack with all your guys. It could be 40 power of creatures, and it's all dealt to the giant at the same turn. So it's not bad, but it's not good. It's a great way to buy time for your other spells, but I would not first pick this card. I would fifth pick it. It's not bad, but like I said, it's not the best. Precinct Captain. 2/2 first strike with whenever it deals damage to a player, put a 1/1 in play. This card, this is going to go in the humans deck. I'm presuming because it's a 2 mana 2/2 first strike. That's going to get through a lot of things. It can block a lot of things. And when it attacks and they don't block it, you get a 1/1 for free. So 2 mana for 3 power, 2 of it first strike. That sounds a lot like the Blade Splicer that was in Euphyrexia. Sounds oddly familiar. And it just seems like a really decent card. For the Populate deck, I would take it. If it was the first pick in a draft, I could consider it. It just depends on what else is in the pack. But this card's decent. I'm generally excited about this card. Next is Rest in Peace. Goodbye, Snapcaster Mage. When Rest in Peace enters the battlefield, exile all cards from all graveyards. Card or token will be put in the graveyard from anywhere. Exile it instead. This basically stops Reanimator, Snapcaster, Delver, and Lingering Souls all at once. This card is amazing sideboard tech. This is a card that you might even main board because there's so much you can do with it. If your deck revolves around Graveyard Hate or Graveyard Shenanigans, this card is your bane. It will kill you. And I'm glad they made this card because Snapcaster Mage has been here like the Titans. It's gonna be here. It's gonna be a big impact on the game. But now, Rest in Peace is here, and hopefully it will put a damper on Snapcaster Mage. Security Blockade. Whenever it enters the battlefield, makes another 2/2. Chant Land has Protect or Tap. Prevent the next 1 damage to be dealt to you this turn. This card, for 3 mana, I can see playing this card because it prevents damage when. But the only reason I don't think you would play this land, or yeah, the only reason I don't think you'd play this enchantment is because you have to tap the land, which is mana you needed to prevent 1 damage to you, which you don't have to do because it's just 1 damage, but the 1 damage can build up. But in early game, I wouldn't use the prevent damage. I just use it my lands for mana. But I do like the fact that it gives you a 2/2 token with vigilance, so you get to be on defensive and still be winning the race. And I enjoy that. It's a 3 mana 2/2 vigilance, which is actually like on par with, and plus it comes with a second ability, which is really good. This is one of the few enchantments I would actually play. I wouldn't first pick it, but it's actually pretty decent. Next, Rootborn Defenses. Some kind of really good combat trick. It's a 3 mana instant speed populate first, so you get the token, and then creatures you control are indestructible. And that card seems really good because if you want, excuse me, if you get if they have the Supreme Verdict, the Wrath spell, or any type of Wrath, or any just like damage spell, you just play this card and just blow them out, and you get another creature token out of it for 3 mana. So it's high value. This card's basically another creature spell, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm really excited about this card. This would be like a 5th pick for me because it's actually a really decent card. And yeah, I'm excited about it. Next we have the Silencia Sentry. 3/2 for 3. Decent power level, but 6 regenerate. I don't think it's gonna do very well. I'm pretty sure that this card's not going to be very playable. You're going to see this about 13, 14 pick because of the regeneration is so high. And because there's no ramp in the set, you can't cheat out the regenerate mana. Next card, Seller of Songbirds. Whenever it's a 3 mana 2 or 1/2, and it's a battlefield, put a 1/1 flying bird token into play. It's okay. It's a basically a 2/3 for 3 and 1 power flies. It's an okay body. You get to block it, and you also get to attack with a 1/1 flyer. It's okay. I like the card. It's not my favorite, but I like it. Next we have Sphere of Safety. It's basically Ghostly Prison, but X is the number of creatures you control, or attacking you, or X is the number of enchantments you control. So it's not even Ghostly Prison. It's worse, and it costs 5 mana. This card is, I would never play this card unless I had the enchantment deck, and that's very rarely going to happen. I'm not excited about this card really. I don't that this the enchantment deck is going to work very well. You'd have to be very lucky in draft to get all these cards. But not impressed by it. Shouldn't be. It's an uncommon mainly because you don't want 2 of these going around. And that's it. Soul Teeth. 2 mana enchant non permanent beginning of upkeep. They sacrifice them unless they pay X for its the converted cost. This is a 2 mana removal spell, or a dampener for white. This card actually seems really good because it makes them choose. They can either just sack their guy and lose it, or sack their impermanent, so you can get rid of the O-ring and everything. O-ring, Detention Sphere, Martial Wall. They can either pay the mana for it and just be stuck on that spell for a couple turns, or they can lose it and lose that particular spell and just get whatever they O-ringed or Tinted Spirit or Martial Law or the detained. So it's okay. I like this card. I'm excited about it, and plus it's not on your turn; it's on their turn that they have to pay the mana. Okay, next turn. Sunspire Griffin, a 3/2. Oops, hang on. There we go. A 2/3 flying for 3 mana. That card for double white. I'm okay playing double white for this card because this card's really good in draft, and I'm excited about this card. This is really good. I'm excited mainly because it's the first like this card is playable, like definitely playable in draft that I've seen, other than like the the Reborn Defenses and the Stellar Songbirds, and obviously the Angel. But I'm excited about this card. I'm going to see a lot of these in my decks. Next we have Swift Justice. This card is basically Kindled Fury for red. I'm not making any waves in Constructed. And for Limited, this is a 23rd pick when you don't have a removal spell. Just get rid of guy. Nothing much to say about it. Trostani's Judgment. Exile target creatures and populate. This is a 2-for-1, literally the written on the card. 6 mana, exile. So even if it has regeneration, indestructibility, you still get rid of their best creature on play, gone forever, at instant speed, and you probably will get a token with it. And that is really good in my eyes. I'm excited about this card. This card is going to be a really good removal spell. The format seems slower than M12 and M13 and Innistrad. So these 6 mana, 7 mana spells are actually going to start mattering. And last card, Trained Caracal. 1/1 lifelink. This reminds me of the Sanctuary Cat from, was it Dark Ascension, I believe? The 1/2, the Squire for 1 mana. This card, it's not good because it's a 1/1. If it was a 2/2, like a Johnny Sunstriker, that card would be really good. But the card's just a 1/1 for 1, and it gets blocked by everything. It trades with almost nothing. It trades with tokens. I'm not excited about this card whatsoever. I'm not ever going to play it, really. I don't have any hopes for this card that's going to be good. There's nothing else to say. And that's white for Ravnica, or Return to Ravnica. It's Casey, and I will see you guys tomorrow when I go over the blue cards for Ravnica, and I'll see you guys later.